Japanese Prime Minister PM Kishida unveiled his new plan for a free and open Indo-Pacific. The plan was unveiled during a lecture delivered in India's capital, New Delhi. Kishida is on a two-day visit to India.
なぜ今、FOIP を発展させる必要があるのか。それは、国際社会が歴史的な転換期にある今、FOIP が持つ考え方を再度明確化して、放置すれば分断と対立に向かいかねない国際社会が共有すべき考え方を提供したいということです。
The Japanese Prime Minister met with his Indian counterpart, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Earlier today, in a joint statement, the two leaders called for fostering peace, prosperity and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, a veiled reference to China's growing aggression. During the meeting with Prime Minister Modi, Prime Minister Kishida was briefed about India's priorities as the chair of the G20.
इस साल भारत G20 की अध्यक्षता कर रहा है और जापान G7 की, और इसलिए अपनी अपनी प्राथमिकताओं और हितों पर साथ मिलकर काम करने का यह उत्तम अवसर है। आज मैंने प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा को भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता की प्राथमिकताओं के बारे में विस्तार से बताया। हमारी G20 अध्यक्षता का एक महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ ग्लोबल साउथ की प्राथमिकताओं को आवाज देना है। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम को मानने वाली संस्कृति सभी को साथ लेकर चलने में विश्वास रखती है।
The two leaders also discussed regional and global issues of mutual interest. As the war in Ukraine continues to divide the world, and many countries are now growing wary of countries with an expansionist outlook, including China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific. Kishida also invited Prime Minister Modi to attend the G7 meeting in Hiroshima, an invite that Prime Minister Modi has accepted. Later, the two leaders were seen having some candid moments. The Japanese Prime Minister tasted the Indian street delicacy Pani Puri with Prime Minister Narendra Modi by his side. Prior to this, the Japanese Prime Minister paid tributes to India's father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, at his memorial. India and Japan are close strategic partners as they both see China's growing influence in the region predatory in nature. While India has had skirmishes with the Chinese PLA on its Himalayan border, Japan has been in a tight contest with China in the South China Sea region. Well, so an important visit there by the Japanese Prime Minister to India, a two-day visit where the two leaders discussed a whole range of issues of mutual interest. Both bilateral ties as well as several global issues were on the table. As we said, the Japanese Prime Minister has extended an invitation to the Indian Prime Minister to attend the G7 summit in Hiroshima in Japan in May this year, an invitation that has been accepted by Prime Minister Modi. As you can see in those visuals, the two leaders spent quite some time together today discussing a whole range of issues. The Japanese Prime Minister also paid his tributes to India's father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, at his memorial in New Delhi. One of the important issues of geopolitical significance that was discussed between the two sides was China's growing aggression in the Indo-Pacific region, something that has been a cause of concern for many countries, especially India, for a long time now, and how India and Japan can further their strategic bilateral ties, especially in the face of this growing aggression by China, is an issue that was discussed prominently. during the talks between the two sides earlier today here in New Delhi. India and Japan, of course, have called for stability in the Indo-Pacific region, a region where China has been accused for a long time now of displaying growing aggression and hegemonic designs.
जो बानगी है वो इस वक्त हम यहाँ देख सकते हैं टेलीविजन
Visuals of leaders meeting in New Delhi earlier today, where, as we said, a whole range of issues were discussed between the two sides. All right, let's now go across to our principal correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who joins us from the national capital. Siddhant, what were the big takeaways from this two-day visit?
Well, today was a key day of engagement when it comes to the Japanese Prime Minister's visit, and we saw that all-important speech on Indo-Pacific. And one of the key outcomes of his speech has been the announcement of $75 billion US dollars investment in the region that will help in connectivity. This will be private funding, this will be public funding by the Japanese government, essentially to counter China. But we have seen other announcements as well, including the Japanese side inviting the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the G7 summit that will happen in Hiroshima. This is for the 5th time that India has been invited for the G7 summit since 2019, and we know that the French were the first one. Now the Japanese have invited, and this visit comes at visit of the Japanese Prime Minister comes at a time when there have been increased geopolitical changes in the Indo-Pacific region, with of course China being a big worry.
All right, Siddhant, thanks very much for all those details.